We were supposed to go to dinner with friends. It was going to be a great night that had nothing to do with work. I just haven't had that in a while. And like, this is one of the rare times where I was like, I'm turning it all off and I'm just going to chill and hang with friends, be present in the moment, and just like have a great night. And we ended up I was just bedridden.
I did not have sexual relations with that woman.
Yes or no? Did you ever take banned substances to enhance your cycling performance?
Yes.
I had no prior knowledge of the planned assault on Nancy Kerrigan.
I am deeply sorry for my irresponsible and selfish behavior I engaged in.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Oops, the podcast. Happy New Year.
Happy New Year, bro.
2024. It's a big year. I know we've already had an episode this year, but since it was so specifically focused on Squid Games, we should have a proper New Year greeting and episode here. So, Happy New Year, Ryan.
Happy New Year, Giulio. Happy New Year, everybody.
Happy New Year to all the listeners. Thank you guys for riding along with us. Thank you to everybody who's been here from the beginning. Welcome to everybody who is new to the show. Reminder, we've never missed an episode in the history of the podcast. Knock on wood.
Not one day.
We intend to continue that trend, bringing you consistent, attainable, and accessible entertainment.
You look for a day we missed an episode, you're never going to find one.
It's not possible.
You're not going to find one.
I think there is a chance that we've taken some down because of some reason. Mm-hmm. Somebody was up for a job and they said something and we had to. It's possible. I think that the episode's gone. I think asked us to take that down.
I think there's two or three
there's
that are
gone. There's a couple
gone.
that are missing, but we put them up originally.
They were there.
So in case anybody tries to pull that card, you know,
that's why you should listen.
Don't do it.
That's why you should listen to every single episode of Oops, because you never know when we'll have to take one down.
You just never know.
Yeah.
So I'm curious, if you guys have any lofty goals or, resolutions for the new year, some things that you intend to do, that you'd like to do, some goals, just curious about it in general. If there's some way we can kind of help you or encourage you, or, you've tried in the past and you've quote failed and blah, 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 whatever. We'd be curious to hear about it. So if you guys want to send that stuff our way, we'll be happy to help you out. oopsthepodcast@gmail.com. But it's always a helpful exercise to kind of look to the upcoming year and talk about goals and aspirations. Ryan, I don't know if there's anything that comes to mind for you, or if you have actually set some sort of precedent for the new year.
I started my New Year's resolution on December 1st, which was to go to the gym more. And I signed up for a membership so that I feel like I'm in a good spot to maintain my new habits that I've built over the last 30 days. That's
a bit of a hack.
Yeah.
If there's a way to start your resolution before the new year, you can sort of hit the ground running and it's not as painful.
Yeah, so I'm excited to go to the gym. I know it's going to be a lot busier. It's the busiest week of the year at the gym. But that is one of the things I've been focusing on this year as of Jan 1, 2024. Phone away later at night, no more doom scrolling. The doom scrolling is real. And
what is doom scrolling exactly? I think I know what it is.
Just scrolling for the sake of it.
Just scrolling.
And my screen time, 13, 14 hours a day.
But it's part of your job, dude.
It is, but it's like a gray area.
Yeah.
I'll go to post something and then I'll check for it, and then I'm on an Instagram story for a chef. And then
I support this, by the way. I support Ryan's 14 hours of screen time.
Thank you.
It's good for the pod. But I understand. I get that there has to be some sort of healthy balance. And the thing about, quote, doom scrolling is that you really suck a lot of valuable energy out of yourself, and you take it from the reserve sometimes. Like sometimes you're tired. You're ready for bed. It's possible that you could catch a wave, as you and Vic say.
Catch a wave.
However, you are using energy that you don't have, and you wake up tired because of it. Mm-hmm. That is a risk that you run with doom scrolling.
Yeah, so doom scrolling, and then I'm going to do this as long as possible and hopefully, shoot for the stars, land on the moon, go to bed and wake up at the same time every day.
Whoa.
Last night, Vic and I said we got to be out of bed at 7. First alarm, out of bed, 7 a.m. Had a great day. I felt like I made 2 hours come from nowhere.
No, agreed. The difference between waking up at 7 and 9 is like wild. And this is, I get that people with conventional schedules, this might be more obvious, but for us, where we sort of it's up to us to sort of put the pedal to the metal at any given time, the extra time in the morning is helpful. The caveat that I will bring up, which is important, is that, we're night workers to some degree. There are times where I just simply honestly, like half of the time, I have no choice but to be awake after 10 p.m. And I do sort of fantasize about a world where I can start winding down at 7:30. I have dinner, and now I'm home. I spark up some sandalwood. I start watching a nice show, and I start winding down, Ryan.
Lotion?
Maybe.
Maybe not, but maybe.
But maybe.
But maybe.
Warm bath, whatever it is.
Yeah.
And that is just not the life I live, and that's okay. And you know what? I'd probably maybe get bored with that life. It's easy to see another lifestyle, another way of being, and to covet it and to wish it was your own. But you might not be as great as you think, and you should be grateful with what you got to. So let's take this moment, guys, too, into 2024 to be grateful for what we already have and to not only be thinking about what we wish we had. Because it is important to strive for more, potentially, but it is equally as important to appreciate what it is that we've created for ourselves and what we have, to just make life easier to live. You know, it's tough. It's a rat race. We live in a capitalist society. I'm not about to go into some rant about that, but you know, in a society like that, there are always ways for you to spend your money. And there's always something that's marketed specifically at you to make you push your limits so that you always barely have enough money to survive. You know, so start taking stock within and thinking about what it is that you really want and need. Look, I love shit. We all do, you know, but there are certain things that maybe you don't need or want as much as you think you do. Think about the reasons why, what you want, what you need, and what the reasons behind those things are. Let's try to live a life where we spend less of our money on shit. We don't need to, you know? There can be a very comfortable life that we can live within our own means. Having said that, be sure to buy every single thing that we sponsor on this podcast, whether or not you need it.
Check out our store too, oopsthepodcast.com.
Check out oopsthepodcast.com, buy a bunch of shit, and come see me on the road.
Yeah, where can they get tickets?
NotJulio.com or JulioGallerati.com if you can spell that properly. Kudos to you. But I'm going to be in January 18th, Phoenix at the Desert Ridge Improv, I believe it's called. That's going to be a great show. Really looking forward to that. That's one. It's a Thursday night. Then I have two at Mic Drop Comedy, January 19th in San Diego, California. February 1st, Lynchy Pie is coming and doing this show in Stamford, Connecticut at New York Comedy Club Stamford. That's February 1st. And then the 16th of February, I am taping my very first feature-length special at the Den Theater in Chicago. Those tickets are moving. Grab them while you can, while they're hot. So once you spend all of your money on us, then start thinking about how you can live a life where you're satisfied with what you have. It really is a great thing. And I think we can all do it.
It's well said. I know you just tied that up in a beautiful bow, but was there anything in particular that you had for 2024 as a New Year's resolution?
Yeah, sure. Well, we can talk more. Yeah, no, don't worry. There was not quite a bow on it yet, Lynch. I know. Breathe a sigh of relief, folks. We will get to me specifically as well. But what I will say is I have never been in a state in my life where I feel like I have all the things that I would need to make me happy. And I will say this, I am actually nearing a point where I would have to double my income. Okay, if I were to double my income. Now, that's kind of crazy, the idea of doubling one's income. But I will say this, in our line of work, it's actually a thing that you see happen commonly. You under-earn for a very long period of time, and then eventually it pays off, and now you start making a bunch more money, right? So it's not insane to think of a year where I could double my income and sustain it. It's possible, right? I could smell it. You know, if I just start, you know, how do we get the ticket sales up? How do we do this? How do we do that? If I were to double my income, I'm pretty confident I could do all the things that I want that I don't feel comfortable spending money on or that I can't afford right now. Here are some of those things. I don't feel like I'm in a place where I could lease a car. It seems like it would be too expensive, especially in New York City. You're paying, you know, $500 a month to park if you're lucky, right? I don't want to do the like parking on the street thing, the alternate side parking.
It's $1,000 a month at least total.
Easy.
Insurance, rental, parking.
And you've had a car previously, right?
Yeah.
You're saying 1,000 could get it done?
If all circumstances are good, $1,000 could get it done.
Okay.
Most circumstances more than 1,000, I'd say.
Okay. So this is assuming now during this, my monthly expenses, right? Mm-hmm. This is assuming that I'm saving money every month, right? I'm investing or whatever. Now, mind you, a lot of my savings are going to get depleted by paying for my special because I have to pay for that myself. So hoping that that gets bought. That's, I guess, one of my goals for the year is to make money off of my special. We'll see. I hope so. I don't see any reason why I wouldn't be able to. So I'm going to go out there and get it, baby. But listen, so all that aside, let's say on a given month, I am saving some money. I'm putting some money in my different places that it needs to go, whatever. Once I've done all that, on top of that, now, car. That's the thing I'd like. Second thing would be to literally just fully finance my goals as far as like making travel content go, which would be expensive. And that's fine. So I think those two things, and then maybe like enough to also go on like a sick vacation, which I can usually sort of do still already, but like depending on the time. So those are kind of the things that I want. As far as like stuff, there's nothing really beyond that, but I count that as stuff. Activities are stuff, And then
living situation?
I'm fine with ours. We're thinking of moving because it would be convenient with some updates in our work schedules and stuff. And I think in our current price range, we can get something bigger in the new neighborhood that we want to go to. So those are the things that I would like to be able to pay for that I don't feel comfortable with now, I guess. I don't know. But I just know that like once I get to that moment where I'm like, wow, like here I am in that space, I'm going to find a way to make my life more expensive. That's what we always do. So that's my challenge to you and to all of us is let's try to not level up when we level up. Does that make sense? You've now made more money. Is there a way that you can keep your lifestyle similar and make yourself happy without being tempted to do things for convenience and ease? But maybe convenience and ease are nice. Who the fuck knows, Ryan?
That's a challenge. Isn't it more money, more problems?
More money, more problems. And more money, more
problems.
Expenses. I will tell you this. If I ever made a bunch of money, I don't think that I would buy a bunch of houses. That just sounds like a headache to me. People, you get somebody to manage it all for you. No, it's never that simple. I would like to have a light footprint. And I know that at some point in the future, I'm going to be family planning and trying to have kids. And it's not that far off. It's closer than it is far, So I'd like to level up in that time. So back to my goals and aspirations for this year. I haven't really specifically laid them out, but I'm open to kind of talking through them here on the show. So obviously I said the thing about the special. That's the first thing. And, from there, I think it's also important to not put all my eggs in one basket based on what I'm working on. Even though I'm about to spend most of my money on my special, I don't want to put myself in a position where like I put myself on the brink of snapping and I need the special to work out or I'm going to lose all of my will to go on.
What do you mean by snapping?
So I've seen it happen to people. They're like pushing themselves. They are putting themselves in a position financially where they need something to kind of like work out. They need it to work out. Or I don't know. I want to make sure that whatever it is I'm doing and working on is sustainable despite the fact that I'm about to spend a large amount of money on my special. So I don't want to get in the headspace of like, it's special or bust. Meaning like if I ended up having a scenario with the special where A, I didn't make that much money, B, it didn't end up in a place where I wanted, C, I don't make any money, where it's like maybe if I'm lucky, I make money on the back end through, there's ways to do that. We don't need to talk through the boring logistics of this, but if that were to happen, I don't want that to crush my spirit. You know what I mean? So it's like, I want to have enough irons in the fire. I don't know if that's the proper phrase. I've been fucking up sayings lately. I want to have enough irons in the fire, if that is the phrase, to prevent myself from being so stressed out about the outcome of the special. I want the special to do well, and I'm going to do everything I can to make it great, but I'm ready for whatever comes, right? We can only prepare for the things that are in front of us, so I want to keep grinding no matter what happens, so put myself in a position to succeed, obviously, but that's kind of a broad goal, right? How specifically am I going to do that? I don't know. I don't really fucking know, dude. And I have a plan, and I hope that I can execute it, and I know that I can stick to it. So hopefully that will pay dividends and just keep growing the operation bigger and bigger, man.
2024 will be a big year for you, bro.
Did I say anything just now?
Yeah, you did.
You understand what I'm talking about?
Yeah, we understand. Right, guys? We understand. It's gonna be a big year, dude. We're excited for you.
Yeah, I hope so, man. So we'll see. Onward and upward, main character energy. And remember, a lot of the time a person's biggest obstacle is themselves. And this is sort of a bit of a tennis metaphor. Nadal always says some stuff about this, about all he can really do is try his best, put himself in a position for success. And I think what I always take from that is that you are your biggest enemy, foe, competition. You know what I mean? And in tennis, it's true too. Like most of the time a point will end because you miss a shot. That's how most points end. So it's like, don't beat yourself, right? So instead of sort of comparing yourself to other people or being jealous or feeling envious or feeling bad when you see what other people are doing, it's important to remember that you are in more sort of control of your destiny than you think. And it's nice because you are working against yourself, right? How do you defeat yourself?
You don't seem
Simple.
like an envious person, at least the Giulio that I've met. Has there been a time where you've been filled with a little bit of envy?
Yeah, dude. I mean, look, I would say that compared to other people in our field, maybe I'm less like that, perhaps. I do like have a lot of sort of like inner satisfaction. I don't see other people doing stuff and just feel like mad about it. If somebody's more successful than me or whatever. But of course, sometimes you're like, oh man, you see somebody who, and I've talked about it on the show a bit, but like you see somebody living the life you want to live, you know what I mean? And it's like, fuck, like I want to do that. You can't help but feel a certain way about it. But I don't know that envy is the word, because envy sort of has like a negative connotation for some reason. Like, can you be envious in a positive way? I feel like maybe it's possible, but that might just be a different vocabulary word. I'm not really sure. But sometimes I get inspired. I'll be like, I'll see somebody doing stuff and I'm like, oh, that's sick. Like, I want to do that. I'm going to try to do that, and I feel encouraged, man. And look, it's been a long road and I've had a good few years where I've been able to make money and I've been happy. And I think that for the most part, I don't feel that way, but it should certainly happen sometimes. What about you?
No, the main reason why I was asking you that is just because to me, you're very wise. We have a 10-year age gap. And so I view you as very wise. And I wonder if I am perceived as wise to someone that I know that's 10 years younger than me. I wouldn't think that I'm wise. Do you think that you're wise?
Interesting. I don't fucking know, dude. I think that a person saying they're wise can't be a good sign.
Yeah. Okay, then that's a weird question.
No, it's a good question. But that's how I'll lead with saying it, because anybody who it's up to other people to deem a person wise. So if you think I'm wise, that's great. That's helpful. Hopefully you guys think that. I don't know. Maybe that's not what this show is about, but I do think to some degree, sometimes people like to hear what we have to say and it helps them kind of make informed choices about their own lives, whatever. But to your point, I think by default, that is true, where like a guy 10 years younger than you have stuff you can teach him. And I not only am older than you, but I'm also doing what you do pretty much to some degree, some variation of it. And now you're hitting the mics, you're doing comedy. I want to check in about that a bit. So of course I have things I can teach you, but I will say this additionally, like I have a lot of thoughts about process and approach to what it is that you're doing. And if you see me as a guy who has a positive relationship with the lifestyle, which I believe I do, and you think that that's helpful, and maybe to you that is something that you see as being wise and helpful, then I don't see why that is controversial in any way. No,
not at all. I brought it up just because no matter what the topic is, no matter who you're talking to, I'm not just trying to fluff your horn, but like
I'll take some fluffing. You're
able to add insight and you have a take that is unique to anything that anybody can say on the show.
Oh,
and it's interesting because sometimes somebody will mention something and I'll just have nothing to say. And it's cool that, some people talk just for the sake of talking. Every time you talk, you say something. A lot of people talk and say nothing.
Thank you, Ryan.
And so I just, with you referring to Nadal with losing the point, like you find a way to tie in what you've learned and what you've absorbed into like applicable scenarios. And that's very admirable. And that's it.
No, dude, thanks. I appreciate it.
It's cool. You're 2024 is gonna be a big year for you, dude. You were very talented.
Thank you.
And you are I think you're very wise, and I think you have a lot of experience in life, and so like you will You'll flourish. I'm very confident in you.
Thank you,
I
man.
can't look at Giulio anymore. Sips
Ryan,
coffee, looks away, checks the monitor.
Dude, I have the
Sounds so
same
good.
hopes. Same hopes for you. I am confident that you can do anything you set your mind to. I've seen your work ethic and your focus. You have a great attitude. You're consistent. There's no reason why you can't do all the things that you'd like to in this life.
Thank you.
And I think you're gonna have a big year as well. But look, you're in a tough time in your comedy dealing, your stand-up dealings. You know what I mean? It's it's a tough grind. And I when I was your age, but I'd been doing it I've been going hard for like 5 years at that point when I was your age.
Mm-hmm.
Times have changed a little, the nature of the hustle is a bit different, but I was sort of like right in the fucking trenches of the job because I had some early lucky success, which I've talked about on the show a little bit. And the show doesn't need to turn into some sort of reflection on my career constantly. I know we've been talking about this a lot, but it's nice to give Lynch some perspective as he dives deeper into the world and decides what it is he wants to do. So 5 years in, I got lucky. You know what I mean? I had that, you begin a luck, Daniel-san. I had a little bit of that. I've said it before, but I got a couple lucky breaks that I wasn't really able to parlay into anything. And by year 5, which is, I guess, 2013, I didn't really have anything going on. And I booked a couple of commercials. I was stuff in that, but it was a really tough time to like push it forward. The hustle looks a lot different now, but like I was running around, I was trying to do spots, and it just became harder and harder to make progress. And look, like you can't keep a good man down at the end of the day. I think to any young comedians listening or to any people, like I think it's important to try to make sure you're living a sustainable life. Like you don't want to be living life. And I know I sort of said this in relation to my special. I think this is a generally applicable philosophy when it comes to anything, but you want to be in a place where you have some wiggle room with comfort in life, right? So if I'm going to spend a bunch of my money on my special, I shouldn't spend all of it, right? For sure. But I don't want to be in a place, like I said, where I feel desperate for it to work out. The same thing with stand-up, where it's like, you don't want to be scraping by in your last $5. You don't know where your money's going to be coming from. Even if it means you have to do like some ego crushing side jobs to like make enough money to live a normal life while pursuing your dreams. I think that is an important thing to be doing. I didn't always do it. Like I came down to the wire a million times. Shout out to Navy Federal Credit Union, where I somehow got a $2,000 check once a year for like 5 years. And it would come right in the nick of time, dude, where I was about to be in an alley turning tricks. So look, each person's journey is unique, but it seems to me like you're doing all the right stuff. And this is cool that you have this gig too. It's a perfectly parallel and applicable thing to that sort of works toward your broader goals.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
Yeah. Do you have any sort of insight in relation to how you intend to attack stand-up in the new year? Like, are you still feeling engaged? Are you still feeling like you have the fire? You don't always give me updates because, I don't know, you're just a humble guy who doesn't feel like talking about himself all the time, which is a respectable quality. How's it going? What's the outlook? What are your thoughts?
Mics are going well. I am facing some challenges though, which is, it's all productive stuff. I had like a pretty solid 5 minutes that I was confident with going into November. And I am ready to, work on my next 5 and, tie that all in together. And so it's just been a little difficult getting these premises to punchlines, just that transition. And so a couple of the open mics that I've been to recently, I'm going up there with the premise and I'm trying to write on stage, and I'm learning that that's not the way that I should be doing it. I need to write something down, memorize it, and then when I'm on stage, then I can figure out what I need to tweak. 10 months in, just figuring out the best way that I can be the most productive when writing stuff. So it's been a fun journey. And then the TikTok thing is like its own like form of comedy in which I'm trying to, while the iron is hot, try to strike and
you're doing a great job.
Thank you. I'm trying to captivate as many people as possible with this whole Chipotle thing, and then sprinkle in some more personal things that I'd care about, more little silly sketches and other tangents and rants. And I want to capitalize on that because I'm making money on TikTok, and that could go away any day. So I want to double down on ensuring that I squeeze every last drop out of that. So
Buy some chip chop merch.
Some chip chop hats we got there.
Tell us where we can buy
in our
them.
store. You can go to ryanisreallypolite.com, link in my bio on Instagram or TikTok. Really, the P's are in the shape of a measuring cup.
It's brilliant.
Thank
It's brilliant. You sent that to me like late at night one night, and I was like, "What the fuck is this?" And then you're like, "I was like, dude, I'm sorry. Like, I'm literally asleep right now."
No,
It's
it was like 3 a.m. or something.
really, really clever the way that you made those. Grab some, support Lynch.
Thanks.
Um,
But yeah, I'm going to a mic tonight, and I got like 3 things that I'm excited to test out. I feel confident in it, and then I'll go from there. I'm really excited for February and for the Stanford show, and I'm excited for this year. I got the year for me personally and financially ended very strong, and so I'm riding that. I'm gonna ride that into the new year, and I feel very, very confident.
Great, dude.
Feel good, dude.
That rules.
Yeah.
Congrats. Very cool.
Thank you.
Yeah, the Chipotle stuff is fucking legendary. You've done a great job at tacking onto it. That's something that I've learned a lot from you when it comes to seeing your strategy with that. And, it requires discipline, because part of this is like, you want to do whatever you want to do. You know what I mean? And it's important not to lose sight of that, right? Because if I was just cared about money, if I could have done a normal job, that would have been much more stable. I went to a good school. I'm sure I could have figured it out. Maybe I couldn't have. I don't know. Maybe I just don't have the personality for it. Whatever. Regardless, it's good to be like, oh, this is working. I need to do this more. And sometimes I'm not always sort of like open to that. I'm like, I'm doing what I'm doing. That's it. That's all I want to do. But there are certainly ways that I could improve my approach, especially when it comes to TikTok and stuff. I can definitely be lazy with it. So it's been cool to see the algorithm perk up for you and see you sort of like make great shit.
Thanks, dude.
Pretty badass.
Appreciate it. It is fun, and the people still think that I am a Mormon.
Yeah, it's great.
Yeah,
let them think it.
I'm gonna let them think that.
Right? You're down in South America, spreading the word about Chipotle.
Everyone says it's your mission to take down Chipotle.
Chipotle Mormon.
Yeah. And it's getting very, very finicky, because people are calling for us to schedule like a day of boycott where we all walk out. And I want to do that, but I know that I'm going to get banned from TikTok if I call on people to impact a business. That's like one of like the things that you can get banned for. So it's like, I really want to say it, but I can't say it.
Yeah.
I can't say it, but you could do it.
As a guy who got banned at 50K followers, I can tell you it hurts.
Dude, if I get banned from TikTok, this might sound, so some of the older people listening, this might sound pathetic to you, I would like jump off of a balcony of a building.
Remember,
I really would.
The theme of the episode, no, don't put all your eggs in one basket in a way where if something doesn't work out, you can't sustain.
Dude, I would really cry. And it's been a long time since I've had a cry. That would be a real cry.
Get a good cry in there.
Crying is healthy.
It's good for
When's
you.
the last time you had a good cry?
I don't know. I have them from time to time.
Sometimes when I'm driving and I'm angry, I try to force one out, but you can't force it.
Dude, I do all my crying with Hill Dog.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm. It's our little secret.
That's nice.
I'm not like a crier with others for the most part. I get too embarrassed, but Hill Dog sees my sweet tears.
That's very nice.
Yeah.
It's a good thing.
Well, Ryan, I don't know about you, but one of my New Year's resolutions is that I would like to cook a bit more.
That's a good New Year's resolution, Giulio.
It's a good one, and I think you know where I'm going with this. One of the best ways to do that for a person who sees the challenge of cooking as something that is daunting, and I do see it as a challenge, but guess what? It ain't a challenge with HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Dude, I'm telling you, it should not be underrated how difficult it is to prepare to cook. That's why HelloFresh is amazing. That entire step of going and getting all the stuff eliminated. Not only do you have all the stuff you need to cook meals, but you have it portioned properly. Mm-hmm. And you can order, the thing that's great about HelloFresh too, you can order it differently. So you can order for 2 people, you can order for 4, whatever. And it gives you everything you need to prepare it in that way. So suddenly you have all the instructions, you have all the things you need. Preparing it all is not that difficult. Pretty much anybody can do it. I know nothing about cooking, and here I am cooking new stuff constantly. I'm cooking different types of fish. The other night I made tilapia with quinoa. I'd never cooked quinoa. I'd never cooked tilapia sloppy. I'm roasting potatoes some nights in the oven. I've never used the oven. Suddenly I'm roasting potatoes. I be out here cooking, bro. With HelloFresh, you get farm fresh, pre-portioned ingredients and seasonal recipes delivered right to your doorstep. Skip trips to the grocery store and count on HelloFresh to make home cooking easy, fun, and affordable. That's why it's America's #1 meal kit. So go to HelloFresh.com/oopsfree and use code oopsfree for free breakfast for life. One breakfast item per box while the subscription is active. That's free breakfast for life. I got some turkey sausage and egg thing that looks delicious. I cannot wait to cook it. But that's free breakfast for life at HelloFresh.com/oopsfree. That's OOPSFREE. And use the code oopsfree. HelloFresh, America's #1 meal kit. Well, dude, there's one thing I'll add. I'll throw in for you for your open mic stuff, and take it or leave it. But a thing that popped into my head that could be helpful is it may be difficult to gauge how good things are based on an open mic audience. So a thing works, a thing doesn't work. It's still important to check in with the reality of that. Because what I've found, and now that I've been, working at the Comedy Cellar a bunch, whatever, it's amazing to see the things that good audiences appreciate. And from there, it's like I'm realizing that there were times where I was right about something, there were other times that I was wrong about something, and I only was influenced by the reaction of a live crowd. So like at this point, I feel like I have a good enough perspective that if I can write something, I can know if it's good or not. And to some degree, you know what I mean? And especially to the point where I'm like, oh, this is going to work. A lot of the time that will be the case. So when you're writing, when you're doing your thing, or if you're having a great moment up there, and for me, that's when I tend to come up with like random stuff on the spot. If I'm really killing, like I have a lot of space in my brain, and like I start coming up with stuff and I'm like, ooh, I need to remember that. I would say like watch stand up and listen to your sets, and just listening to the sets can also help aid the writing process. Do your best to give yourself as much perspective as possible when you're doing your writing. Meaning you wrote something, you think it's good. You're like, ooh, this makes sense. It's a funny thing. There's a setup. There's a punchline. Why didn't it work in the mic? It doesn't mean that it doesn't work. And look, the more real audiences you get to perform in front of, the more helpful it'll be. And that's why it kind of takes a while to develop in stand-up, because you don't get to work out in front of those audiences right away. But just make sure to take all the feedback with a grain of salt as you're getting to understand.
There's a couple of open mics that have audiences, and there's people that are around. And so I've been frequenting at those ones mostly.
That's
and
smart.
I'll get some valuable feedback, small or large. I think every time I go.
Great. Well, dude, listen, it takes time for sure. And, can happen faster for some people, but just be patient. And I know I'm enjoying seeing how it goes for you, and I'm sure everybody listening is too. And if you're in Connecticut on the 1st, Lynch is going to make an appearance on the show. So come on down. Should be a fun one. So, dude, how was your New Year's Eve?
New Year's Eve was very fun because we didn't go out in the city. We tend to see that when you go out in New York City or any city on New Year's Eve, you pay more for less. So we went to a humble little house party at my friend's apartment in Weehawken, New Jersey.
It looked like somebody was cooking up a storm.
Yeah, my buddy Pete, he's a cook. Shout out Petey Cooks. Hit him up on Instagram and TikTok. He is an amazing chef. We had charred cabbage, we had lobster risotto, and then we had a roast. And it was fantastic. He is really good at cooking. He's a very good friend. And he spent pretty much the entire night in the kitchen making sure that everybody had what they needed while cooking the meals. And we just hung out. There's like 10 of us. And we went on the roof, looked at Manhattan right at New Year, saw some fireworks, and we called it a night. Very nice
He
night.
cooked the whole thing?
He cooked everything.
Jesus, what a legend.
Yeah.
Great to have a friend like that.
He's a great friend.
Great
on
to have
top
a
of
friend
that,
like that.
yeah. How was New Year's for you, though?
It was not that good, dude. You sound like you really did it well. Nice little hang. And I think that's a good instinct to, have a good group hang in a contained space where you can really enjoy yourselves and not have to worry about logistics and bullshit and overpaying for shit. I had great plans. And to be honest, I was like really looking forward to the 2 days leading up to New Year's Eve. because I was going to spend all the time with Hill Dog. She had some time off. We spent some time together Friday afternoon. It was great. So then it was Saturday and Sunday. New Year's Eve was a Sunday. So on Saturday, I found out that Nimesh, who's been on the pod before, he was doing the garden. I got the invite to go to that. I'm like, I feel like that's a cool opportunity. Like I should go to that. So I said to Hillary, I'm like, would you mind if I went to that? But we'll have a big night Sunday. She's like, absolutely. While I'm at the garden, my stomach starts feeling a little off. By the way, he sold out. It was sick. Congratulations, Nimesh. Very badass. Great show. My stomach started feeling not that great. I kind of go home. Like they were all going to go do stuff after. I went home. And then I woke up in the morning feeling off, and then I proceeded to just be sick for 48 hours, like stomach situation. I'm fine now. But it sucked, and we had to cancel our New Year's Eve plans. We were supposed to go to dinner with friends. It was going to be a great night that had nothing to do with work. I just haven't had that in a while. Like I've been working nonstop since the pod became independent, just trying to like get my shit cracking, like crush it. And like, this is one of the rare times where I was like, I'm turning it all off and I'm just going to chill and hang with friends, be present in the moment and just like have a great night. And we ended up I was just bedridden and I felt really bad for Hill Dog, dude. Like she couldn't be mad at me, but I don't know. She would probably even say that she wasn't disappointed. Like maybe she was thinking about other stuff, but like I sensed that she was bummed out and maybe she just couldn't hide it. Or maybe it was something else. I really don't know, but I felt really bad. And it just sucked.
It's beat. That photo was cute and sad. That was posted of you guys eating dinner. We
were planning to go to a dinner at the restaurant where we're actually in the same building where it was one of our wedding activities, where it's been planned. So like that was going to be a little fun addition to it too. And then we ended up just ordering in Italian food, which was good. And you know, on New Year's Day, I had all these plans too. Wasn't able to do any of them, and just right back into the rat race. I had spots on New Year's Day too, where I just like had. So anyway, being sick on New Year's Eve does suck, but I guess there was something kind of nice about it. We just binged X-Files and the show, The Fall of the House of Usher. Have you seen it?
It's made by the people that did The Haunting of Hill House and the other one,
Bly Manor, the vampire show. That guy, I think his name is Mike Anderson. He makes great shows, and I will say, House of Usher is like a little anticlimactic, and it's sort of like not, in my opinion, not to be critical, it's a great show. It's a not as exciting version of Hill House, which Bly Manor sort of was too. Like Haunting of Hill House is a masterpiece. This show is good though. It's like cinematically like really beautiful. It's creepy. It's a good show. But anyway, so watched a bunch of creepy shit, had a good time. Here we are.
But you're all better now?
All better now, feeling good, and cooking into the new year.
Glad to hear that. That sucks. I'm sorry that happened.
I appreciate it. Yeah, it was pretty big. But dude, we were talking about Run Club on one of the last episodes and like trying to wrap our heads around the appeal, because it seems to be a really popular thing and a really positive thing for people. And the people who I know that are in them are like really happy, solid people. And I'm just like, I like learning about runner's high, even though I don't like running. It's a unique thing. I find it inspiring, even though I don't like it. So anyway, somebody emailed us about Run Club, but this is from our friend Lindsay, and it's titled Running. G and Lynch, longtime lover of the pod. I've been listening since episode 1. Shout out. We love you. Appreciate it. I'm emailing you guys a response to your conversation about Run Club and running as a hobby. I've been running on and off for about 10 years now. In the last 4, I've been consistently in a running club that meets at a shoe store. I love running and chatting with my friends. You're not supposed to be training at a hard pace all the time. The Run Club actually recommends running at a conversational pace, one that you can comfortably hold a conversation while doing. I've run numerous half marathons, 1 full marathon, and 2 ultra marathons. Jesus. And that's 50K or 33 miles is an ultra marathon. Very, very impressive, Lindsay. When I was training for my first marathon, we would spend hours chit-chatting about everything from popular books to our personal lives. Longevity in running is possible with the proper strength training, recovery, warm-up, and training program structure that has the proper peaks and troughs. That sounds about right. Sounds right to me. I'm still pretty young, so we'll see about if I need double knee replacements or something like that later in life. Below, I've listed some other Run Club logistics and running questions that you had asked about before. We meet as a big group, but the big group is divided into smaller groups based on pace per mile. These are called pace groups. It is not just 100 people going at once either. We will start in waves based on pace group to minimize sidewalk traffic. Curious also what city this is. I'm just out of curiosity. It sounds like it could be New York, but we'll see. There's not a place where we are running to, but the organizers of the run club make routes for us to follow that are usually looped back around to the starting point. The club will also put a water stop at designated parts of the route. I think you'll also find that less people enjoy the act of running and more people enjoy the strong sense of community that the sport provides. It does seem like it has that. It's pretty cool. There's so many happy hours, breakfasts, and social events that happen in the running community that bring people together in a way that I've never seen in any other leisure sport. Yeah, dude, I know this girl named Avery who's like big into this, and she seems like she fucking loves it. She also seems like a very happy person. So also my friend Jen does it. Anyway, she says, I enjoy the act of running as it really has helped my physical and mental health over the years, but that is not everyone's case. My father and I have also been running together since before I could drive. The sport has fostered a super strong relationship between us, and I cherish that more than words can even describe. Hope this email makes sense and isn't a case of me rambling about my love for running. Best, Lindsay. It sounds like you're not alone.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe we should get involved in the run club, Lynch.
Yeah, there's a run club right by where I live.
Really?
We were trying to cross the street. It took a while to do so. It's a big group of people, and they're all chatting. It's happy. My Victoria runs with our friend that lives in our building, and they both were training for. Vic was training for the Philly half. She was training for the full Philly marathon.
Sure.
They'd run 12 miles on Saturday mornings, and they would run side by side and just chat for hours.
So nice.
Hours. So
nice.
It seems very pleasant, and yeah, most runners that I know are generally pretty happy.
Yeah.
I've never had the runner's high before, and I ran all through high school, and I never achieved it, even long distances.
Never ever.
No, I never had that floating euphoric.
I felt
feeling.
it. I felt it once or twice.
Do you remember when?
Yeah, no, like when I was running a lot, say that I was running a few miles even, you know what I mean? Or sometimes I started getting up there a bit. I must have hurt myself. But I remember one time I ran like 7 or 8 miles. I don't know. I think that's the longest I've ever run at once on a treadmill. But I remember like being tired, the body aching, like feeling my joints, and then like hitting a place where that stopped. And I just started to feel so good. And like the runner's high, I started to feel high for a bit, which was a cool feeling. But I haven't felt the need to sort of chase the dragon on that one. So
Florence and the Machines, The Dog Days Are Over is that's what I imagine a runner's high feels like. Running down a hill to that song. It's a powerful song.
music can certainly help.
Mm-hmm.
Get you, at least keep you going. You know what I mean? Speaking of tricks for the brain.
Can you work out while listening to podcasts, or do you usually just listen to music?
Music. Music only. What about you?
I'll have better workouts when I listen to music, but sometimes if it's like legs, I don't care about my legs that much, but I do them anyway. I'll listen to a podcast while I'm doing legs.
Interesting. Well, dude, I'll tell you this. And we've maybe talked about this before, but this made me think that legs were valuable. I think that anyway, because if I want to do any sort of active, like sport or like playing something that involves running around or moving around, like having strong legs. And I think that she alluded to this a little bit, like having functionally strong legs is really important for recovery and not allowing your for degenerative things to take place. Like if your muscles are strong and not just flexible, like that's helpful. So to me, that is some form of incentive, but also they say that since the legs are such big muscles, they actually help you be more ripped. Like it helps burn fat more than working other muscle groups, which I know you're skinny anyway, so maybe that's not as much of a draw for you. But they do say too that like ripping legs gives you really good posture, and it also like makes your abs ripped.
That sounds nice.
If any of that sounds helpful to you.
That sounds. I need to continue to gain weight because I have all these pants and they're all slouchy on me.
That is an insanely hilarious problem to have.
Like, dude,
no one ever in the world.
Dude,
I love it. Dude.
I had all these pants in 2019 when I got chubby at work because I was eating all the snacks. And
you got chubby at work?
I got chubby at work. My face looked like Thomas the Tank Engine.
You have a pic?
It would take me a little while to pull it up.
Try to find it.
Yeah.
So by the way, while you're looking for this picture, the show recommendation that I have, we'll talk about it on next Thursday's episode. Mm-hmm. But it's something that's really worth watching. It's a good Netflix show. There's a good tie in here with all this stuff. But anyway.
But yeah, so I would eat all these snacks at work every single day.
So how much do you weigh now?
I weigh
questions.
165 right now.
Okay.
And I'm trying to get
And how tall are you?
6'1".
6'1", 165.
165.
Wow, crazy.
And I was about, I think I gained about 5 pounds in the last month.
And how much did you weigh when you were chubby?
I'd say about 190.
Wow.
And so like 175, 180 is like my goal weight that I'm trying to bulk back towards.
I'm roughly 6'1". 163 is the least that I've ever weighed, and I looked fucking crazy, dude.
Really?
I was too skinny. Like all my facial features were looking too big. That's when you know you've gone too far. When your like nose looks all big, your ears look all big, like in a way that doesn't make sense. Let's see the pic. You got to throw this in the app if you don't feel too embarrassed.
That's one of them. I got to show you a couple of them.
Wow.
But that's one.
I mean, you look good. You still look fine. You weren't like fat, right? You just had like do you have a little gut?
The interesting thing is I didn't really notice it until after. This was the day that I got sent home for COVID and was told that we're not going back to the office for a few months. So that was that day.
Okay.
But you don't realize
You
it.
look pretty. So the other thing too, you look pretty built, kind of.
I
up
was.
top.
I
So
had
were you
it.
like lifting weights, but just like eating like shit? Oh, sorry.
I was coming down from, like, I built that in college, and then I kind of just floated and didn't work out afterwards.
Got it.
So in 2019, the pants that I still have now were bulging. The buttons were about to burst off, 32, 34. Now, though, they're sagging, and
Wow.
they're the same pants, and I'm
Wow,
just
that's
I got to
crazy.
pull them up all the time. And I got these pants, and I really, really like them. They have, like, that black... it's black and blue, and it has that dog tooth pattern, like the designer looking cool pattern if you look closely. And I got them on sale, and I really loved them. But the only problem is that there's an elastic, and it's like a drawstring pant.
Tuck it.
It's a drawstring pant, but it's a khaki, so it's not like a sweatpants. So like I wear it up.
Yeah.
I try to wear it up. It's like I can wear this to dinner, and
So why don't you just pull them tighter?
because the strings are like I can
Getting
feel
too,
the
I see.
strings
yeah.
are like tearing.
in a way that's like makes the pants sit weird.
And now I know why they went on sale. Like that's why they went on sale. And
well, you're
so,
also just skinny, dude.
yeah. So that and then
So that's interesting,
my
dude.
other pants.
I never realized that you were able to gain weight at some point. I thought you were always a guy who could not gain weight no matter what he did. So in that capacity, so what has been your problem with like gaining weight? You're just trying to like gain muscle weight. Is that it?
So now I'm going into like a dirty bulk. I'm just gonna eat. Like Vic and I were watching a movie the other night, and we got a loaf of bread, like for toast in the morning. I just grabbed 2 pieces. I was eating it. When I was in college, after we would like, a night staying in, we'd smoke a little bit and we want to get some munchies at Stop and Shop. My friends would go and get candy or chips. I'd walk all the way to the end of Stop and Shop and grab a loaf of bread with olives in it. And I would just eat the whole loaf. I wouldn't cut it, just bite out of the...
But you were lifting like a maniac.
I was lifting a lot. I'll show you a picture of what I looked like then.
This is the danger with that potentially is like you build up that appetite, and then if you're not lifting like that, you just get fat, right?
Yeah.
Were you guys together when you gained weight too?
Yeah.
Okay.
So those summers is when I gained my weight.
Does she have any thoughts about your aesthetic?
She says that I've gotten more handsome over the years. She found me attractive when we first started dating because she thought I was funny, and she liked my confidence. Oh. And then she's grown to become more physically attracted to me.
Oh. Nice.
Ever since. But yeah, dude, I'm trying to get back to that. That was like an awesome time. Like first week of senior year, I got to give a speech to the entire at the convocation of the class of 2020 and or the class of 2022, and I was wearing a suit and I looked really fucking ripped, and I gave them a 15-minute speech about being addicted to your cell phone and how you should really unplug and experience college, which is such a hypocritical statement from the 14 hours a day guy. And I felt so confident and so strong. I'm trying to get back to that.
Do you gain the weight in the pandemic?
No, it was before the pandemic. I lost the weight during the pandemic because I wasn't in the office anymore eating all the snacks.
So, but when you gave the speech, you were in your like physical peak.
Yeah, senior year of
then
college.
you graduated, went to your job.
Mm-hmm.
Gained the first year at work 15, apparently that's the thing, or 30, 25.
Mm-hmm.
And then how long did it take you to lose it?
I'd say 6 months, maybe a year. I didn't even notice that I
Right,
gained
just
the weight until after I like lost the weight.
It's sneaky.
Because I didn't realize I was going through old photos to do like a carousel photo of, this was 2019. And I'm like, whoa, my face is getting rounder and rounder and rounder the further and further I go back.
Interesting.
So that was interesting. But yeah, I'm just trying to get back to that 2018 strong boy mode.
So right now you're like 165. You want to be like 175, 180, basically.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. And the lowest I got to was I got to 148 this time 2 years ago.
Wow.
Yeah.
And you were just super skinny?
Super skinny. Just super skinny.
I know you don't like being in that super skinny state. Even despite the fact that we are similar height, I suspect that my body supports more weight than yours, just based on, it's probably because I have a fucking huge ass and like big legs or whatever. But no, it's fine. But I think that my best, now that I've experienced all weights of myself pretty much, besides like being massive. At one point in the pandemic, I was like 220 something. I was like pretty big. And there's a couple of clips specifically that you guys might be able to dig up where I'm this weight. I can tell you exactly when it was. It was when I got back from Alaska. It was like October 2020. I was like in the 220s. It was like a dark moment for me. I remember freshman year of college too. I got up to like the high 2 teens at one point. And now I'm less than that. But I know that my like best weight, having been 163 and 221, by the way, an insane range to experience in a semi-short period of time as an adult. You know what I mean? Like,
was that 60 pounds?
That's a lot. Yeah. That's like 60 pounds. And, I would say I got down to that around 2015. And then to be 223 or something, 224, I don't know, 5 years later, it's like pretty crazy. So anyway, I think that my best weight is probably somewhere between 190 and 200 as a man. And I'll tell you what, I have one of my incentives other than trying to look good on camera. And I typically am fine with how I look on camera. I'm like, I look all right, whatever. But aside from that, Hill Dog says that she doesn't like notice, but I suspect that if I were to get ripped, she would really like it. I see how impressed she is with like athletes and when they're being athletic and when they look good, or like she'll make a comment that suggests, and I don't know if she's doing it on purpose to like give me drive without wanting to hurt my feelings or something, or maybe she just truly doesn't care, but I suspect that she would like it if I were to be ripped. Not that I'm trying to be like ripped, but look good in clothes, look good in a t-shirt.
Whether she thinks that or not, you plant that seed, it's fake in your head, let it drive you.
There you go.
Let it drive you.
A lot of themes for this episode. Use whatever tricks you need to get your goals done in your brain, and don't go too extreme, right? Your goals should be things that, maybe push you to the limits, but you don't want to be in a situation where if you fail, it completely derails you from living a normal life, right? As a baseline, you should be able to live a life that you're happy with every day, and you can strive for more without having to feel desperate.
Julia, before we wrap up today, I got this note sent to me. It looks like chapter 3 of the Tales of the Haddam Raccoon.
Stop it.
So I think we need to read it.
Yeah, we sure do.
I don't know who wrote it. I don't
Reveal
know where it
yourself
came from.
If you're not Ryan.
This stumbled into my folder today. 37 children sitting on the school bus. 36 filled with glee, only one in a fuss. The boy was upset Santa didn't come and lost all of his faith in the holiday fun. I hate Christmas. I hate Easter. There's no Santa. There's no bunny. 36 little children found his rage not so funny. Mary Sue said, "What about the Haddam Raccoon? He saved the boy from that fall. I don't believe that happened. I hate him most of all." The children ignored him, dismissing the grumpy young geezer, while up in the front the bus driver had a seizure. Passed out on the wheel, his head hit some metal, forehead glued to the horn, his foot on the gas pedal. Heading straight for that building 1 mile down the road, the children started screaming as this tragedy would unfold. The wheels on the bus go faster and faster as the hopeless bundle of potential was bound for disaster. "Oh, what's the point? Life's pointless and dumb," said the little prick boy filled with unnecessary glum. Some children prayed, some children cried, but fortunate for them, they'd soon be surprised. bashed through the back of the bus. The glass shattered with a boom. "Oh my God, it's him!" 36 children cried. "It's the Haddam Raccoon!" "I'm the Haddam Raccoon. Hop onto my tail. We'll jump on the scooter. Big G's in our trail." The children all gathered and climbed on his bum, and as he turned his back to leave, the angry boy broke down crying. He said, "I want to come." "You don't believe in me, you rotten old kid. Saying your life? Nah, bro, that I forbid." "But what about the building? All those people will die too." "Yeah, I know. That's a scam call center. I'll be happy they die with you." Then he did a backflip out of the bus. 36 saved from doom. They landed in silence. Then they all heard a giant kaboom. Big G gathered the children in a circle and took a knee. "We saved you, our children, because you believe. Now let this be a lesson as we must now go to help the community flourish and grow. Believe in yourself and believe in me, and we'll all live in Haddam harmoniously." That was chapter 3.
R.I.P. to that kid who didn't believe.
Fuck
dude.
that kid.
Oh my God. Haddam Raccoons, they provide protection as long as you believe.
You got to believe.
That is
It's a community
the moral of
driven
the story.
community.
That is the moral of the story. That is pretty
So,
good.
that's chapter 3.
That's beautiful, Lynch.
Yes.
That is really beautiful. I don't know where you're getting these from, but I love them.
Thank you.
Haddam
I think
Raccoon
it's sweet
Chronicles.
that we have this.
Continue on. And hit oopspodcast at gmail.com if you want to share anything with us. You need some encouragement. You want to tell us some stories. We love hearing all about it. Come see me on the road. You know where I'm going to be, notjulio.com. Hopefully a lot of big stuff coming up for this year for both of us. Buy some Chip Chop merch as Lynch continues to try to take down the behemoth Chipotle cheekishly so that he does not get banned from TikTok.
And check out the Oops store, oopsthepodcast.com for Haddam Raccoon merch. We got some really quality stuff on there.
We sure do.
And wear your Oops pride. I can't wait to bump into one of you guys wearing a shirt. And then after we make eye contact, and if I ask, maybe we'll high five or hug. So
It's the best.
yeah.
All right, guys. Be well. Bye-bye.